I was going to say, we've talked about purpose and goals before, you and I, and we've noticed a difference between the two. Maybe you could explain a little bit more about that.
For me, purpose comes down to vision, which is where you want to be and what it looks like, and the steps to make that happen, which is goals. Purpose without goals is just a fantasy, really. It's just an idea. So I think you need vision. You need to have clarity of where you're going and what you want to look like. And, you know, whether that's a business, what it looks like when it's done, what does a great business look like for you? But without goals, it's never going to happen. It's never going to materialize.
Does that chime with you, Pete? Do goals chime with intention?
It does. I mean, I know Andrew quite well. I know you know him quite well as well. And I know one of the things that he has an incredible superpower, which I'd like to dive into. But just going into the whole thing about goals, I'm more a fan of intentions than goals. But it's just words at the end of the day. What we see with goals for a lot of people is it tends to be a right brain activity, like a tick box. This is the goal. It doesn't always evoke emotion. I think intention is something where you know that the thing you want to do, you know it's going to be hard, you know it's going to be difficult. It evokes emotion. And I think sometimes just a goal on its own can we just need to do this. But what you want people is to be engaged emotionally into what they're doing to make this thing happen. But I know that's what Andrew does anyway, and ultimately they're just words.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting about Andrew, as a coach, what I love to do is I love to find out if someone's good at something, how do they do it? You know, what are they doing? And we've spent enough time together. Tell me about, you know, your childhood and your way of dealing with a pretty challenging environment that you were growing up with was to immerse yourself in books and fantasies. Absolutely. And I remember you saying you'd come to the end of a book and then you'd think, hang on, I can think of a better ending to that. So he would then use his brain to see something better and then be more inspired. You should have been an author.
Yeah.
But when you go into businesses, and you've done this with so many people's businesses, what your business does, right? You go into a business, you see what's going on, and you see what is possible from your ability to see where everything is. I've struggled with that in my life. That's what people call foresight. And I think foresight only can really come from, obviously, experience, but often a calmness. Because if you're in a state of high alertness, which I've spent a lot of my life being in that state, it's very hard to see beyond today, tomorrow, next week, next month. That's basically one of your superpowers, isn't it?
I think when I was growing up, as you said, I loved fantasy world. I loved, you know, to go into these little worlds and escape. For me, that was a lot of escapism. But over that period of time, you know, one of the things that I loved was Lego. And what I really find fascinating about Lego is you can take 100 blocks and you can put them together in 100 different ways and you'll get 100 different outcomes. You know, you can take these blocks and it can be a car or it can be a dinosaur, it can be anything that you want it to be. And I think life's like that, and I think business is like that. So, you know, if I have got a superpower, it's an ability to go into a business and look at it in those component parts and break it down into Lego parts and then say, look, if we put this together in a slightly different way, we're going to get a different income, a different outcome.
And a different income.
And a different income, yeah. Definitely we're going to get a different income.